So thank you for coming to our chant class for American schedule. Let's see, what shall we talk about today? I was just off the top of my head. Question? Yeah, go ahead, please. Feel free. Thank you.
Thank you, Master.
Yes.
I remember one time someone asked that if it was okay to release captive animals that are kept in captivity. And I was thinking that I want to do it as well. But for example, let's say the birds, when they are in captivity, if we release them, they're going to die.
Yeah.
It's like we're releasing them to die.
Right.
That's my question. Is it okay to do it or... Thank you, Master.
Good question. Life liberation, that's what we used to do a lot at Lu Mountain Temple. We periodically, especially like around the times of the Qis, 4 Qi and so forth, or major Dharma assemblies like Vesak, we would have a life liberation ceremony. And we found out that some of them couldn't quite make it on their own because they were born in captivity and they were never trained to survive in the wild. Okay, so I'm conflicted. I'm not sure what I'm supposed to do. The thing is that it's well-meaning. We try to liberate them and let them live their life, their natural life. And sometimes they can't survive. Even if, for example, in Lu Mountain Temple, there used to be some sort of eagle or hawk who would prey on the pigeons who were at the Lu Mountain Temple. Okay, and so as I'm talking, I thought about it, and I said, well, the life liberating ceremony is more than just liberation. We also recite mantras. We also bestow blessings upon them as well as you. And therefore, even though they get in trouble, maybe they get harmed in some way, they're getting a lot of blessings, rebirth blessings, that will be better off ultimately. So absolutely. So definitely, if we feel like we should resume the life liberation thing, or you should do those things, I think it's beneficial for them. Let's do it. Okay? Yes, 8.
Dạ, con thưa Thầy, như mình phóng sanh mà mình không có phóng tại đây á, Thầy, mà mình gửi tiền về Việt Nam để nhờ bạn bè hay người thân mua phóng sanh rồi cũng trì chú y như vậy thì nó có work giống mình có mặt không Thầy? Hay là...
Okay.
Hello, Master. So just like our liberating life here, but we cannot liberate the life here in America, but I usually send the money to Vietnam and ask my friend and relative to do the liberation of life and also reciting the mantra just like us here. Does it still work or not?
Yes, absolutely. Any life liberation ceremony is helpful to all these living beings who get the benefit from it. Okay, so yes, but of course it depends on who recites, who performs the ceremony, because it's not the same practically. Okay, it's beneficial, but the higher level Kung Fu at these people who perform the ceremonies, the more benefits go to these liberated animals. Okay. Yes, 1.
Thank you, Master. I just like to voice a concern of a neighbor who lives around Lu Mountain. I think we might have done a ceremony like that right before relics, and the neighbor came and was talking to me and how she thought, oh, well, it seems like it's a really great thing to do, but then she noticed that some birds just were not unable to fly, and then they were getting run over, and then they were feeling very afflicted by that.
Yeah.
So I don't know what to say.
It happens, and if that happens, let's be mindful and collect the carcasses very quickly. Well, you can't please them all, okay? And that's life. All right. Anyone else? Thank you. All your inputs are appreciated. We try our best. We can't let one person affliction stop the rest of the beings receive benefits. So yeah, there's always trade-offs. There's not much we can do. That's part of that's the nature of the beast. Okay. Also, we are today. We are getting a 100-inch TV. This is behind me is 85-inch, so 100-inch TV. So we plan to replace this one with that and see what happens. Okay. And as I'm looking at the configuration, I took the measurements and we put the same layout here. The view is going to be blocked. Okay, it's huge. So I'm thinking, maybe I'm just throwing ideas out there. What if we put it on the wall there and tilt it out just a little bit so that you here can be looking over here and you over there can be looking over there. So yeah, we can get two because it's the layout is much better. For something like this, actually it's blocking a lot of stuff behind it. Yes, too. We have, the reason I bring it up because we have a TV expert. Yeah.
Thank you, Master. I'm so glad you're mentioning this. If you went back to the original proposal about 8 years ago, you would see that on either side, I had drawn in televisions on the side walls that could be tilted out, so not to obstruct behind you. So I agree.
Yeah, so you tilt it out. Maybe there's too much an angle for you over here, but it's big enough for you to look this way.
Correct.
And you over here to look that way.
It's meant to be the right side looks at the left, and the left side looks at the right.
I agree.
Everyone's
Thank you. See, great minds, that's what great minds meet here at Way Mountain Temple. So can we plan for that? Let's try that because I heard, and please keep it among ourselves. There's a 20% tariff increase very soon, and next year could be 60%. That's why I'm eager to buy the Chinese stuff very quickly before they run out.
Yeah.
If the current inventory runs out, that's it, folks. It's 60% increase. That's humongous for us.
2024 is the year of purchasing items that we don't make in America.
Yes. So that's why, can we get like a bracket there, and we can mount it there and kind of tilt forward a little bit?
That would be the design, yes.
Yeah, please. Let's do that and raise it so that a person about 10 foot here can stand here and not be blocking the thing. Okay, 6 foot, too bad. Okay, so you put up 5'10", okay, and make sure you sitting there will be able to see it. Okay, all right. Very good. Thank you, everyone. Let's take care of that. Okay, I'm excited because 100 inch is the way to go. In the future, we'll go up to 120. We're gonna be a video kind of Dharma assemblies. All right? Okay, very good. Thank you. See what else? Okay, and also, I also would like to make it official that we strongly urge you to practice Chan every day and coming on the weekend here is extremely beneficial for you because this is the foundation of your well-being. If you don't take care of your well-being, no one can for you. Okay? And in particular, not just the physical well-being, but your mental well-being. That's very, very important. Okay? And it's something you must do yourself. Okay? And here at the American Mahayana American Chan, we train you on how to take better care of your health. All right? Especially mental health, which is something that most people out there don't know how to do it right. Okay? Chan is perfect for it. Yes, DTT.
Thank you, Master. Interested in getting a hybrid car, but then now I'm not sure about the manic depression ghost because of the electric car.
Yeah.
So
very good.
I don't know if that's good or bad, but I'm out there like 10 hours sometimes, and then $40 goes into the gas. So then I need to take that into account too.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah, okay. First of all, I want to reiterate, stay away from Teslas. I feel so much better now. I made the wrong bet recently against Tesla. I got a bloody nose. Anyway, Tesla is very bad for you, no two ways about it, okay? Because the big battery there underneath the floor, the whole floor, the car is very, very bad for you. In particular, if you have mental issues, you're mentally unstable, it saps your energy and messes up your mind, okay? It makes you very vulnerable. So please stay away from those Teslas or the BYDs and so forth. Okay. However, the hybrids. Okay. I've been on pure EVs and the hybrids. The hybrids are fine. They don't affect you that much. Okay, unless you go on several days or something, you sit there for 24 hours a day and so forth, then you begin to feel it. But your body can recover from the smaller batteries that hybrids use. Okay, so it's okay to go hybrid. Okay, however, economically, hybrids are not worth it unless you only do mainly city driving. If you drive long distances like I do, it doesn't really pay that much, unless you have you want to be ecologically responsible. Okay, but if you do a lot of inner city driving, hybrids are perfect for you. It will the extra expenses will pay for itself. Okay. All right. Any other questions? Okay. Then let's go and look into Master Yung Chia's Song Enlightenment. Remember, this is a real treat for me personally as well, because my guess is that he's 7th ground Bodhisattva. What's special about these people? 7th ground Bodhisattva are the ones who are at the point in their career where we feel they're good enough to begin to be trained on how to help living beings. Below that, you're kind of idiots. I mean, excuse me, we shouldn't call bodhisattvas idiots, but they are. Okay, low levels, they have a lot of hang-ups to work on. But at 7, like Master Yung Chao, I feel, he's malleable and he's receptive enough to be trained. Okay, and so he's a very special case where he tells us his state. So it's very important to look into him, to what he sees, how he feels about things, because he's revealing the level of his wisdom, okay? And so we can learn a lot from that. Why? Because you're not 7G. Okay? All right, we at 127. The tune is ancient, the expression pure, the bearing naturally lofty. Oh, it's not Chinese. Okay, and this is, I kept the original translation to show my appreciation and sometimes beat up on them a little to sort of tell them you're not quite there yet. This is all messed up translation, okay? So I couldn't understand it. I couldn't explain this. So I asked my Chinese disciples to do some research for me. And I said, what does it mean, this Chinese expression here? 调骨神经, something like that, okay? And so this expression here is a Chinese expression, and it means that they are dignified and lofty. Okay? At that level of 7G, where they begin to have really a meaningful impact on others, then the appearances and their comportment are much more important. So naturally, they become more dignified and lofty. And it's based on the fact that they, inside their minds, are very noble, and they maintain their integrity. Integrity means that you are not affected by the outside pressure. Okay? And this is very important for you, especially for you who are proud of yourself. Okay? Your pride should be based on your integrity, not on external things. You should not be proud because you have a great job, have a great looking wife, you have make good money, you have reputation. That's meaningless. Integrity is the fact that you maintain your values in spite of external pressures or internal pressures. Okay? And that's from wisdom. You know that you can maintain your integrity because external things cannot impress you, cannot sway you in any way. Okay? Whereas you look around, the people who have to walk around with their nose in the air, feeling they're special and so forth, is because they're attached to their small things, the small things they possess. Okay? The unimportant things that they own. All right? And so this is the nature of wisdom. Your comportment, you become naturally dignified, and you are lofty because you have the responsibility. You are a role model now, and therefore other people, others look at you, look up to you, and therefore you must maintain, it's your responsibility to maintain the noble integrity, or your comportment is dignified and lofty. Is that clear? This is very important. This is part of his responsibility. Okay? below his level, 1 to 6G, they struggle a lot. I saw recently a photo of a 6G, and I saw how afflicted he was because he couldn't really have much sway over my disciples. He was afflicted. Okay? Anyway. 130, their appearance is haggard, their integrity unshakable, people ignore them. And the appearance haggard because they really are not trying to impress you. Okay, they get by with a bare minimum. Okay, remember, this is at the 7G level. Again, higher level is different, but at his level, and since you below 7G, then you should use this as your criteria of success first. And then when you get to 7G, then I'll teach you how you should adjust your standards, your criteria, in order to move up to higher planes of existence. All right? So don't say, I don't want to learn about 7G. I only want to learn 8G, 9G, 10G, and so forth. I say, you can't learn. It doesn't mean anything to you. Okay? And so the appearance is haggard because they thin, they don't overeat, and this is a very interesting point for you to keep in mind, that they don't waste energy. Haggard is that on the outside, they use minimum energy. Okay? Enough to walk, enough to sit, enough to do things, but not wasted. Okay? For example, if you're a salesman, okay, then you have to waste a lot of energy trying to please your customers. No? You salespeople, you expend a lot of energy pleasing people, connecting with people. That's what it takes to sell. Okay? And same thing, you're a teacher, there's one right there in Gold Forest. You're a teacher, you need to spend a lot of energy to connect with your students, and in particular, oppress them, to calm them down. So your Kung Fu matters, okay, if you're a teacher. If they're the kids, they may be outside, they look at all the teachers, they feel that they have no respect for the teachers. That's why they have an attitude, and they are unruly. But however, if they meet a teacher who has Kung Fu, and you only walk in there and your strength, your inner strength, can overwhelm the kids. Okay? So that's why you need to have that, expand that energy in order to help others. Okay? And whereas this guy here at 7G, he says, I choose to have a haggard appearance, because I want to conserve my energy until I need to use it. So there's a difference between his level of wisdom versus our levels, because his is that he optimizes the use of his energy. Whereas we don't know better, we are constantly trying to sell ourselves and use a lot more energy than we should. Does it make sense to you? We're trying too hard, if you will. Okay? Their integrity unshakable. Actually, it comes from gu, gang, meaning the bones are so hard. Okay, it's not just integrity unshakable, but they are unmovable. They are indestructible. They cannot be swayed. It's not about integrity. It's just we're talking about physically. It's very hard to injure them, to harm them. Gu gang here is physical. The bone is so hard. The bone is like steel. It's like vajra. So physically, it's very hard to harm them, to injure them. It's not integrity at all. Okay? And because it's important, because at their level, 7G, they need to help a lot of people, and therefore they need to become stronger and stronger. By helping more people, the bones become stronger. Yes, one.
Thank you, Master. Just to clarify, you said it's not integrity?
It's really not integrity. It's actually bone as bone like vajra.
So the translation is incorrect.
Yeah, they take a lot of liberties translating these things because they don't understand what they don't understand he's a 7G, why he's talking like this. Okay, and so no, not integrity. Yes, 8.
Dạ thầy, mình làm sao để nới rộng năng lượng thầy? Hôm nãy thầy nói.
Master, last time you mentioned about how to expand our energy to others. I just want to ask, how do we do that?
Empty what?
Expand our energy to help others.
Don't worry about it yet. Don't try to help others yet. You help others right now, or you can't really help. It's too soon to try to help others.
Dạ không, con muốn hỏi là làm sao để nới rộng năng lượng, giống như nãy thầy nói cách như thế nào?
In order to increase your potential, your capacity, your strength, it's samadhi. You measure it. We measure it in our world by samadhi level. You cannot fake it. If your current level of samadhi, you are here. Doesn't matter. Your bone can be this hard only. Meaning that someone higher level than you can break your bones. 7G is very difficult to break the bones. Why? Because it's much harder than the 1 through 6G, because the 1 through 6Gs cannot help as many people. This is something that you don't understand. The more you help people, the harder your bone becomes. That's the secret. You want to get harder, you have to help others. It's not, don't think they're stupid. They're doing this because that's part of their training, part of their progression. In order for them to get higher, they need to help others. And in order to help others, the bones will become stronger and stronger and stronger. Professional secret.
Dạ, còn ngồi thiền thì sao thầy? Có phải nó cũng cứng xương vậy?
Yes. When you meditate, your bone becomes denser. But it's not more than that. When you say Gu Gang here is actually, I'm just reveal you a professional secret. Gu Gang here is like taekwondo. You hit your hand against the board. Your bone becomes harder and harder. You have to do it right. You don't overdo it, then your bone will become denser and denser and denser. So this is helping others. Because you help others, it's a lot of energy and a lot of suffering. When you use this to hit the board, it hurts. It's not free. To help others, you have to pay the price. And because you do that, your bone gets harder, gets stronger, gets denser. Bodhisattvas have to suffer too in order to improve. Yes, one.
Thank you, Master. At what level can we help others, and then how do we do that?
You try to help others. For example, in our environment, I send my disciples out, our monks and nuns and lay people out to teach classes. That's helping others already. So you're helping others within your own capacity. That's what we do. You cannot wait until you're 7G to really help others, okay? Because then you never make it to 7G. You say, you know what? Master says I can't really help, so I'm not going to help until I get to 7G. But you don't help right now, you will never get to 7G. It's a catch-22. Yes, 2. 2, 2. You see, 22.
Thank you, Master. I'd like to share an experience I had earlier today at Temple during the intro to meditation class. And it was my first time sitting with Venerable XL. And his presence I found to be very calming. And after stretching for a few minutes, he asked to sit for 40 minutes if we could do that. And so I said, okay, sure. And 50 minutes later, I asked him, has it been 40 minutes yet, Venerable? And he said, no, we were stretching for a long time. And so I just wanted to say thank you, because I felt like I benefited so much from being around him, and I saw others in the room do things that maybe they didn't think they were going to do when they first started. It was very impressive, and I'm very thankful for it.
Thank you for the feedback. Very good. DTT. No DTT? We can't hear you. Go ahead, Jung. Use sign language.
Okay. Can you hear me now, Master?
Yeah.
Okay. So 10 years ago in a Chan lecture, you posed a question to your students that you never actually answered. You asked them, how is concentrating on your navel and reciting the Buddha's name being one-pointed? You asked, isn't it two-pointed? And I was listening to the lecture, and I was hoping for you to give the answer until the very end that you never did. Could you point out how, even though we're concentrating on our dantian and reciting the Buddha's name, it's not two-pointedness, but actually one-pointedness?
I never gave the answer?
No. Well, you did say at the very end, hey, I have something to tell you guys, turn off the tape. So I don't know what you said after you turned off the tape, but you never gave the answer while it was recording.
Maybe I didn't know the answer. Just because I asked doesn't mean I have the answer. Well, let me think about it. Okay, so how does it, can someone help me out? How does thinking in navel and reciting Buddha's name is one pointed, one single-mindedness instead of not two? Good question. God, I asked this. Yes, 8.
Dạ, con cũng tính hỏi thầy câu đó, tại vì mỗi lần con ngó xuống đan điền á, thì cái tâm con nó vẫn niệm Phật hoặc là niệm danh hiệu Đức Quan Thế Âm Bồ Tát như vậy thường xuyên, là nó không có gì trở ngại, là con không biết sao. Con cũng tính hỏi thầy, thầy trả lời con. A Di Đà Phật.
Hello, Master. I also about to ask this question. So usually when I look at my dantian and I recite the Buddha's name and Kuan Yin Bodhisattva, I feel no obstruction, and it usually happens that way. So I don't know what about it. Can you please explain?
Okay. Yes, 2. 2 will explain to you.
Thank you, Master. For Chung, I think my perspective, why you're not two-pointed when you chant the Buddha's name and focus on your dantian, That's how I was originally trained to sit half lotus when I first joined the temple. And because we are all a part of the Buddha, chanting the Buddha's name is single-minded, one-pointed, and focusing on your dantian while you chant the Buddha's name is single-minded because you're doing one thing.
Okay. Yes, one.
Amitabha Master, I remember when I was reading your Chan book, number 1, you actually answer that question, and you say that it's one mental process.
What?
You says that is that doing the chanting, reciting the Buddha's name and focusing on the navel is one mental process.
It's one mental process.
One mental process. That way you can be like single-minded.
I don't even know what I meant by that. Okay, thank you. Anyone else? Yes, 5.
Thank you, Master. Maybe it's because they don't obstruct each other.
Okay, all right. Anyone else? When you recite the Buddha's name, where is your mind? Amitabha, Wan Yin Buddha, where are you? Yao Chi Ru Lai, where is your mind? One.
Hopefully in your Buddha nature.
In your Buddha nature. Where is that Buddha nature? One.
Maybe somewhere around Dantian.
Somewhere around Dandian. Good guess. Yes, 2.
I believe my Buddha nature is nowhere and everywhere all at once.
Nowhere and everywhere all at once. It's even more confusing. Okay. So if I recite the Buddha's name, I look over here and say Amitabha. I look over there, Amitabha. I look over here, Amitabha. You walk around when you recite the Buddha's name, when we circumambulate, we're looking, hopefully you should open your eyes and look where you're going, right? That's what we naturally do. Does it affect our recitation or not? Not really. It's by force of habit, right? You need to look where you go. Otherwise, you might trip and fall. Okay? It's no mental processing whatsoever. It's a natural, automatic response, right? You walk. It's a part of that process. Naturally, you will look, right? But you look here, and so forth. Okay? And so my point being that it doesn't matter. When you recite Buddha's name, you're looking somewhere anyway. Aren't you? So when you're sitting down, instead of looking somewhere, why don't you simply anchor your mind around your navel? That's all you do. Okay? And so that process there, you park your mind in the navel and recite, I taught you, recite the Buddha's name to your navel. Okay? That's what you mentally do. Amitabha, Amitabha. There is a object here, because that's what your mind is used to thinking. Your mind, when your mind thinks, it has an object. When you say Amitabha, okay, naturally, when you do Amitabha, actually, you are actually having Amitabha somewhere on that, over here, over there, where you're walking. It's a natural mental process for you. So instead of letting your mind wander, I taught you to Amitabha to your navel. Keep on doing the same thing, okay? And you naturally become single-minded. That's all. Too much thinking, too much processing. Just do it. You do it, and then it will naturally your mind becomes single-minded. All right? It's a technique, that's all. You do it, you just listen to it, listen to the instruction and do it without thinking or trying to understand too much, then you will get it. But if you start, like most people do here in the modern era, 21st century, they want to understand first before they do anything, okay? They're only slowing themselves down, that's all. That's what happened to me. I wanted to understand everything. I wanted to make sure I'm doing it right. Okay? And it slowed me down because of it. Whereas you simply trust that the instructions work for a lot of people before you already, and therefore you follow it, then it will work for you too. That's all. Keep it simple. Don't try to understand too much. All right? God explained to you, all your explanations are not incorrect. But if you do that, then you cause more thinking in people, more processing. Instead, I'm trying to simplify it for you. All right? Just think of your Dan Dien, recite your Dan Dien. That's all. All right? All right. And back to 131, people ignore them. This is another aspect of 7G that's very interesting. People ignore them. What does it mean? Instead of us trying to draw attention to ourselves, the 7G wisdom, the Bodhisattva at the level of 7th ground, they don't want to be noticed at all. When they walk by you, they don't want you to even notice them. And that's a skill, by the way. Can you remember? Appearance haggard, okay, says they don't pay attention to their appearances, but more importantly, they minimize their energy. And this is what Mahayana excels at doing. Even though he's much higher than 7G, but he excels at minimizing his energy. His use of energy is so precise. I'm so impressed by him. Compared to all the other monks I met, what he uses is only enough, okay, the exact amount, and that's it. Nothing wasted. Very deliberate uses energy, so that's appearance haggard in that sense, is that he used only enough energy to live, if you will, to walk, to sit, to talk to you, okay? The precision is incredible, okay? So the haggard here is that you don't waste energy. And that's why when you're not wasting energy and they walk by, you look at them, they look haggard because they're not wasting energy. But when they turn to you and talk to you, all of a sudden you see a different person. And that's efficiency. Okay? That's how you don't waste your life energy, especially when you get older, or especially when you are sick, like Mahayana. You need to conserve energy to fight your sickness inside. Can't afford to waste it. Because the more you fight, the longer you live. But if you expend a lot of energy, then here, inside, they are proliferating. All right? That's why appearance haggard. People ignore them is a mental state, meaning that don't pay attention to me. Unlike us here in America, me, I'm important, like me, respect me, okay? That's important to people. They need attention. They need to be liked. Whereas here, the guy walks by and you don't even notice him. He looks so plain. He looks so nothing special about him. Nothing worth paying attention to. Okay, so even though he's haggard, okay, meaning he looks so like he's barely alive, but when he walks by, you barely notice him. And so there might be a little bit of contradiction here. You're haggard, you draw attention to yourself, okay? But people ignore them. Is that I would tell you this. He's not able to do that. He cannot be both haggard and people ignore him at the same time. It's not possible for him. Okay. However, now I'm pointing out to you his mindset is that I'm not important. It's not about me, if you will. The rest of you is about you. Isn't it right? Me, I'm important. For him, I'm not important. It's never about me. That's his attitude. People run bu gu. Everyone, no one pays attention to him. No one notices him. And that's wisdom. Have you thought about it? The people who keep on demanding attention and say, help me or pay attention to me, I'm important, especially like people here in our 21st century, I'm important, okay? Especially in the Western culture, you know, we worship the individual. The individual is important. People with wisdom are just the exact opposite. They don't want to draw attention to themselves. I want you to remember that because you're not there. You're constantly demanding attention. I'm important, like me. I hope Master likes me. When you like that, I don't like you, I assure you. Okay, that's too blunt. Okay, 132. The Shakyan disciples say that they are poor. You talk to doesn't happen nowadays anymore, but in my teacher's generation, not my generation, we are lost already. We're the lost generation. I think we're the first one to be considered lost generation. But my teachers, Master Srinivas level, they all often call themselves this poor monk. Okay, and so that's why because they often say that this poor monk here and so forth. This poor monk. They don't say me. They don't say I. They say this poor monk here is really grateful for your fruits offering, for your red car offering. Yes, one.
Thank you, Master. We have a question here from Tho Hugh. That's Tho and then Hue. Master, I feel a crawling sensation under my skin. It's itching. I rubbed it. What is that experience? Thank you.
That experience is that you have something called crawling skin. Okay? And it's a good thing. Don't rub it, please. And it's no big deal. All right? Eventually it will go away. If it itches, that's a good thing as well. You have something called crawling and itchy skin. Okay, so why would people refer themselves as this poor monk? And Master Yongcha says, they are indeed poor in body, but not poor in the way. Okay, and this is actually words of wisdom. He said that don't be fooled. Those people who say this poor monk, especially the older monks used to say that. Okay, they mean that what they mean is that they live in poverty. Because nothing more dangerous for you cultivators is to have too much money, to have more money than you need. And some people are saying, but I need more money to get more plaques. Except for that. Sorry. Okay, there are always exceptions. But besides that, okay, you should be poor. Okay? And so the point here is a very important point. When you cultivate, preferably, you should live in poverty. You should not be too comfortable. Okay? If you're a creature of comfort, you demand comfort all the time, it's an attachment of what? Attachment to the body. It's so fundamental. If you constantly ask for, here, especially here, a nice bed. You go to a hotel, you want a nice bed, don't you? I went to hotels, I pick ones which has nice beds. Okay? Yeah. And the nicer, more expensive hotels have nicer beds. No two ways about it. Okay? It's an attachment. All right? And then I also personally have an attachment to nice bathrooms. When I go to Korea, I don't see any bathrooms with marbles. To me, that's important. Okay. Anyway, but I'm working on it, okay? Give me time, I promise. Okay, so the point here is that if you need comfort when you cultivate, that is a sure sign of your attachment to the body. And attachment to the body is the first attachment that stops you from going into the realms of transcendental wisdom. So be careful. If you are constantly demanding comfort, it's not good for your cultivation. Okay? It's so fundamental. And this is why nowadays you go to the Taiwanese temples, everyone, especially all the monks and nuns, are so comfortable. They have their room, they have their own bathrooms, and their masters make sure that they're comfortable. Whereas the attitude should be, they should have enough to cultivate. And that's what is meant by poor in body. Okay? The body is poor, meaning it barely makes it. If the body is poor, can you afford to get foundations? Huh? All right? And so that's so after he became enlightened, Master Yongcha said, I like this, actually. So this is a confirmation for you. First, you become poor. He says, the Shakyamuni disciples, remember? Okay? The Shakyamuni disciples, they say they're poor. Indeed, they're poor in body. And so he says, this applies not to him, but to all the monks and nuns. Okay? And this is why in our world, this is what I learned from Master Shenhua. Master Shenhua, when you become a monk and nun, you get zero money. So you're really, really poor. Okay? And let me tell you, it's not funny. Because at times I needed to mail something, I had no money, even to buy stamps. So can you see me Standing my hands, can I have some money to buy stamps? I said, hell no, so I don't mail things anymore. Okay? So that's what I learned. I said, that is pretty bad, and so I try to help you maintain your dignity by giving you a small stipend, enough for you to buy small things, ice cream, razor blades for you to shave your legs. Okay? But not enough for you to splurge on yourself. Okay? So we changed a little bit. We adapted a little bit because it's important for you to maintain your own dignity. But not enough for you to say, have a luxurious life. Okay? So it's better for us to cultivate when you're poor. So that's why when you come to the temple during a chanchi, during the weekends and so forth, we provide things for you so that you have enough, but not to the point where you want to stay here forever. That's no good either. Then you make us really, really poor. Okay, so the point here is that when you cultivate, you want to get by with the bare minimals, bare essentials. Okay? But not poor in the way. Oh, it's 11 already. But they're not poor because they actually, in a spiritual sense, they don't feel they're poor at all. They feel they're so rich. They have so much in their heart. So outside they're poor, but inside it doesn't bother them. And actually inside they feel very, very happy. They feel not lacking in anything at all. That's a study in contrasts. They let go. We learn to love the Sanghas, disciples, Shakyan disciples. They learn to let go of material things. And by doing that, they feel so fulfilled, so rich, and so full here in their heart. Okay, we stop here today. Thank you, everyone.